Hi guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Mark here, and I'm back with another project in the HTML, CSS, JavaScript crash course. As usual, I'm back here with another front-end mentor challenge, and today we're gonna be working on designing this landing page for Loop Studios. And without further ado, just go ahead and download the resources here, and then we head over to VS Code. Okay guys, I just opened my VS Code, and you're probably not gonna be having the same layout as I am right now, but this is just the usual HTML, and I'll go over it like real quick right now. So normally you would just start with your if you have VS Code, normally this is just the usual HTML boilerplate. You just, if you save your project with an HTML extension, you will just go ahead and type in you would just go ahead and type that, and then it will just autocomplete everything for you. So then you will need to fill in the title of the document, and this is what shows up when the website just starts in the browser. I'll show you that in a second. So I'll go ahead and go through the rest of this. So the boilerplate, as I showed you earlier, and then this would be the favicon. So if you need so if you want an icon to display on your page, this is the code piece of code that you would use. You just identify, you'll just declare a link, then you let the browser know that it's going to be an icon, and then the size of it, and then you link to that image in your image directory, if I may show you that. So you would link that up from here. But moving forward, because I want this video to be shorter, you could include the author and the website to link to the author. This is just for SEO, you know, in the browser. If you want to host your project on on Google or on any server, so Google would use this information to pull up your information. And then for this, this is the styling. This is how you link up your CSS scripts, which is right over here in static. So we have a script. We have a script, JavaScript script, and CSS script. So if you want to link your JavaScript and CSS, that's how you would normally do it. Moving on, this is the same way you would link your JavaScript. So I'll go ahead and show you how I linked my JavaScript in here. Normally you would put it at the bottom, but just before the body tag. Moving on, this is just the CDN from Bootstrap, and what happens is that Bootstrap is a CSS framework that helps you to build faster styles without coding in particular. So we'll use this when we need it. And then going forward, I told you about the title. This is what will show up around here, and then everything, all this information would be in the header section. So what happens is that in any HTML page, you start with the doc type. This is HTML5. Then you let it know that it's the language is going to be in English. This is how you open up the HTML code. If you see, if I try to close it down there, so this is HTML5, then you let it know it's going to be HTML, the script. You open up HTML tags, and then inside the HTML tags, you're going to have two other tags in there. So you have the head, and then you have the body. So the body is where all this information is displayed. That's why you see it empty, because there's nothing in here at the moment. And I told you about the header is where you put all the CSS, you put the SEO stuff in the header. So moving forward, and we are done with that, we're going into the header section. And if you see right now that if I add anything in here, it's gonna auto show right? So I'm using live server, and if you want to do that, just go ahead in the extensions and add that lookup live server. That's how all this information is able to show. Without further ado, let's move forward with the project and then go ahead. So I have my prepared HTML, but I'll just go through it so that this video is not too long for you, because I respect your time in watching this video. So we're gonna start with the header section. All right, we're gonna start with the header section, and I'll not do the CSS in this video, but I'll add a link to the GitHub repository. I advise you to go through your project first before you copy the styles from this project, because that way it helps you to learn about you know, what's going on. So what I normally do, I divide the project. I use the section tag. So whenever I'm introducing something, I use the section tag. That's my personal preference. Other developers have other preferences, but I'll go ahead and add that, and as you can see, that has added. But before we look into all this, let me explain to you what's going on. So we were right around here, and I used the section tag. So the section tag is like literally saying, I'm talking about this section. I created a section and I'm gonna put information in there. So I went ahead and gave it a class, which I'll show you later on, but let's first see the HTML itself. So I'm introducing a navigation menu, and everything is going to be under the header tag. That's how I'm introducing the navigation menu. And then let's first minimize all that. So let's go through everything one by one. This is a Bootstrap class, and what it's actually doing is it's compressing everything at the center. Okay, so it's right around here. Okay, everything is just going to be squeezed somewhere in the center of the page. Okay, and let's see if we go back to code. So, and then the ID is going to be the header. Okay, I'll just split the screen right here so that it makes sense, but I wanted to first show you each HTML tag. Okay, so moving forward, I'll go ahead and maximize this a little so we go through everything. Okay, so I talked about the section. This section is going to cover the whole page. Okay, it's going to be, the width is going to be 100%. And as you can see right around here, that's the class for it. So when you're using a class, you use the dot to pull up this class identity. But when you're using an ID, just like here, you're gonna use you know, a hashtag. So so what I did, I created the main section and I gave it a width of 100% and a height of around 700 pixels. Then I gave it a background. This background is the image right here where you see this lady in virtual reality goggles. And then this is the CSS to the image. So how you would introduce the image style is, you know, background image, then the URL tag. All right, and then you pull up this image from the image resources. Then I'm asking it not to repeat the background. Then the background should also cover up the whole section of this section tag. I know I'm using a lot of sections, but yeah. And then the position is going to be center, then the width will be 100%. Then the padding, what the padding does is it pushes everything inside. So many people confuse or mix up how to use the padding and the margins. So what the margin does, it's actually looking at the, so okay, so you can control the margin from the top, from the side, from the bottom, you know, left and right, top and bottom, right? But you're pushing things from a particular margin. So if you push margins, let me show you right that in a few. So if this was margin, you're gonna see the difference. Okay, that's what happens. So the margin pushes everything from the margin of something. Okay, it pushes everything, it pushes that section from the margin of something. But if you use padding, padding is squeezing everything inside that section. So what we want here, we don't want to, it depends when you want to use something, but if you want to use margins, you're pushing something from the margin of something. But in padding, you're pushing something inside that section, and you're squeezing it inside, right? You're giving it space inside that section. That's literally padding. I hope that made sense. But if we go ahead and change that, you would see that this makes much more sense and spaced in a beautiful way. All right, and then if we move forward to okay, then I'm introducing the logo here. Let me first squeeze everything right now. So I'm introducing the logo, and I'm giving it a class of menu logo. It's always good to comment, but in real world, because it helps other programmers to see what you're actually talking about. So I'm introducing the menu logo here, and in the menu logo I'm using 2 anchor tags. Anchor tags are used whenever you're introducing like a link to something, you want to connect to something. That is an anchor tag, and it's just an A. If you want more details about this, just go to W3 Schools, and it will explain pretty much what is going on here. So I'm introducing an anchor tag, and in the anchor tag I'm using an SVG, which is like an image, but with SVGs. I explained this in my previous video in part 2 of this series. You can take more control about of the image without going into the CSS, and it's actually fun to play around with this. So go ahead and look up SVGs and play around with them. And then so this is the image right here. As you can see, if I hover over it, it shows that I can get to somewhere. Okay, that's an image right there. Then these are just gonna be buttons when the screen compresses on mobile desktops or mobile views. Okay, I'll show you that when we go to the mobile design. In fact, let me go ahead and it's easier. Unordered, I have an ordered list and unordered list. Confusing, right? Let me show you what that means. So if you use unordered, it means when you're making this list you see around here, it's not gonna be numbered. Okay, it's gonna be unordered. It will have no hierarchy like 1 2 3. Remember, when you're making like a list of something, you'd say 1 2 3, or something like that. So that's when, if you don't want it to be numbered, you would use unordered list. If you want it to be ordered, okay, you would use ordered list. Okay, and because the styling right here, it does not let it show numbers here, so that's why you don't see anything. But I can give you an example here. Let me turn that back. If we go to main content, let me show you something here, because in this class is asking it not to show anything. But if we go around here and then ordered list, then I'll remove this class. Okay. See, that's how you see the numbers. Okay, so if you want something to be ordered, you would use ordered list. If you want it to be unordered and you don't want these numbers to show up, then you would use there are scenarios you would use these numbers. Okay, so moving forward, since we don't need that was just an example to show you what's going on. And then let me go through the CSS and show you what's happening. I didn't explain about the header. Okay, so the header, what was our header? So the header, what I'm really saying here is that in each and every section around here, so we have 2 div sections. Okay, we have the menu and the icon, and what I'm actually doing here is that I'm saying the width should be 100% and the display flex. If you want to get a detailed explanation about how display flex works, I'm gonna upload, just comment in the description, in the comment section below, and let me know if you really want me to go through you know, how to use flex boxes. Then I'm literally saying that just give me a space between them, between these two div sections, and then, you know, the padding and the top and everything in here. So what this does is that it's getting, remember we have a container around here. Okay, there is a container section, which is a Bootstrap class around here, keeping all these things in the center. So this is our header tag. Okay, and in our header tag we have the menu, and we have the logo and the menu. And you know, when you use justify content space between, literally saying that horizontally space these two and give a space in between them. Okay, just push them at the edges. I want a space in between them, but I'll show you if you, so whenever you say flexbox, just a hint of how flexbox works. If you say, if you use display flex and then flex direction row, okay, then you ask it to justify the content space between. So in that row, just push everything at the extreme end. Okay, I'm just gonna go through this in the beginning, then the rest of the sections I may not talk about it at all. And then this is a line is, you know, vertically centering them, you know, vertically, so they're gonna be at the center. Okay, so if you change this to center, supposing if you change that to center, so there will be a difference, but you know, because of other stylings in here, so you may not see the change right away. Okay, all right, but just go ahead and play around with this and see how it works for you. Okay, so moving forward, I want to go ahead and remove this because we don't need it. Okay, don't need that. So I guess that's why this was not working. I was confused about what's going on, but yeah, just go ahead. There's more CSS affecting you know, more affecting the designs if we were to play around with them. Then moving forward, I'm adding a list. Then inside the list, I'm adding a link to every page that which I want the user to go to real quick, and then I'm giving them dummy links. Then I'm pretty sure that the styling for the list here, real quick, margin left, asking each and every link in here to space, you know, that designated spacing, margin from each other. Okay, and I'm using style none. So this style none is what actually removes the dots. Okay, the dots on air, the dots. So as you can see, there is a dot here. Okay, if you want to take out that dot on each and every link, just say list none. That's what fixes that. Okay, then real quick, menu items. Where is our menu items? Yeah, menu items is the unordered list. What I'm doing is display flex, then flex direction row. Okay, so that they're aligned in this manner. And then justify content center. I talked about all this earlier, so it's going to be the same thing. You're going to be repeating over and over and over. All right, then I'm also using the menu items list, and whenever a user hovers, so if you want this particular list, if you want a user to hover over and create some interactivity, then you would use this colon hover. Okay, I'm actually saying that, hey, background to this color, which is purplish, and then the width is going to be 100%, the width of this particular link, and then you know, the color of the fonts. This is how, so there's a difference. So background color, this is the attribute for it, and then for the color for the text, the actual text is just color. Okay, and then box shadow, just go ahead and play around with this. So box shadow, you know, literally saying that, hey, the shadow for this particular text right now, you wouldn't see it, but if I change this color to white, you would literally see it. Okay, I changed that to white, so you would see that there's a background over there. Okay, there's a box shadow, so the shadow for this particular box, I'll leave the back to black. Then I'm literally saying that if the user hovers on the anchor links in here, these anchor links, the text should particularly stay white. Okay, then initially, before the user clicks on them, on the anchor links, they are still white and they are bold. So this should actually come just before that. Okay, just for it to make more sense. Okay, it looks like our header is done. And then if we move forward to, so this is done, the menu is done, and then if we move forward to the introductions section, okay, we have a div section in here, and I'm giving it a Bootstrap class and my customizable class. Okay, so you can add 2 classes in one class. So this will override some of the stuff in here, and we'll move forward. Why? I know you're asking, why should I use these 2? It's because I didn't want to spend more time you know, padding the content in this section, because let's see, inspect element. So if you look around here, so this is, all right, this is the container section. See, so get out of the way, that's the container section. So you see, that's the container section, that's the header section. You can see it pop around here. Okay, I mean, if I move, it's gonna, but you can see it. Take note of what's happening here. So if you if we are around here, okay, the container section is that green one right there. Okay, so it's literally just padded into, so I didn't want to struggle with the padding on the side, so I used the container section to make things simple, because earlier on I had also used the container so they would match and use the same CSS from Bootstrap. Then if we are to move forward from here, so I have the container section, I explained this, then I'm literally, so the difference here is going to be flex start. So I'm literally saying that this div section that is inside the intro section should start at the flex of that division. Okay, moving forward real quick, so I'm creating a div introduction intro header. Okay, and I'm literally just giving it a border with 4 pixels, okay, and a width of 50%. Why 50%? Because the parent element, the parent div section is 100%. So if I want to take half, so this is the intro, what did we call it? Intro section. Okay, so that's the parent, the one that you see that is sort of bluish. This one, the whole thing is the parent of this daughter right here. So this is the intro header. I'm giving it a border of 4 pixels, and I'm giving it 50%. Why? Because the whole thing is 100% from here to here. That's 100%. Okay, under the container section. And then the rest is just the header one, giving it some style, you know, and then moving forward into the main section.